Time last year, the Prime Minister kicked off the year promising New Zealanders that the economy was in recovery, that we'd turned the corner, the economy was growing, and instead of that, we saw the economy continue to shrink, more people lose their jobs, more businesses go into liquidation, and the country going backwards. All we saw today from Christopher Luxon was a whole lot of management speak mumbo jumbo. He has no vision and no plan for New Zealand's future. New Zealand cannot afford 3 more years of Christopher Luxon in his absolutely chaotic leadership. We need a vision, we need a plan for the future, and it's clear that only Labour can deliver that.
The Prime Minister said there'll be no extravagant election promises. Do you take that as a ticket to your policies?
I think it's probably a reflection on his own policies at the last election. Grant Robertson and I both told him that the tax cuts that they had promised were unaffordable, and we were absolutely right. They plunged the country into a structural deficit that they have no plan to get us out of.
Is it looking like it might be quite an uninspiring election then if both sort of main parties think that they're going to be running small targets?
It's election year. We're just getting underway. We've got plenty to talk about, and we will be.
How are you going to? He mentioned that the only way you're going to pay for some of these new policies is through either borrowing or taxing. You've already signalled capital gains tax. Will you be doing borrowing to fund some of the promises that you are yet to make?
Christopher Luxon is so desperate to not talk about his own track record. All he wants to talk about is what Labour may or may not do. He should focus on delivering on the promises that he made. The political term is almost over, and all he has to show for the last 3 years in Parliament is a track record of failure.
He didn't mention Labour once, to be fair.
Well, you were just quoting him and saying that he was blaming us for.
He cautioned against parties doing that. Didn't name you explicitly, but I mean, really throwing lines against.
Yeah. Oh.
There were many mentions about the economy, but very little on health or housing. What do you make of that?
Health and housing are two of the most important issues for New Zealanders. If you can't get in to see your doctor and you can't maintain your own health, so many other things in life are not going to go your way. New Zealanders deserve to have the housing crisis fixed. Generations of New Zealanders giving up and leaving the country because they've got no chance of home ownership here in New Zealand, simply not good enough.
The Prime Minister spoke about what, quote, got him up in the morning and what turned him on. In terms of his policies, will voters be turned on by what they heard today?
I think most voters will just simply go back onto summer mode and tune out politics if that's the best Christopher Luxon's got to offer. The national backbenchers will be having their head in their hands.
Has the economy started to blossom, as the Prime Minister says?
Christopher Luxon is living in a parallel reality where the economy is getting better, when for most New Zealanders things are getting harder. They're working harder than ever, their wages are stagnant and their costs are continuing to go up. Things are getting harder for Kiwis, not better.
And the Prime Minister still hasn't confirmed whether or not he will attend Waitangi. What do you make of that?
Christopher Luxon should go to Waitangi. It is our national day. He should be at Waitangi on our national day.
You mentioned that he wanted national ministers completely in charge of the RMA changes. Currently as it stands, you've got an active parliamentary undersecretary, you've got coalition ministers sort of involved with that. What do you make of that play that he seems to be making? Do you think it may mean that what we've got now is still going to be redrafted again?
Oh, Christopher Luxon is the Prime Minister. Ultimately, he allocates ministerial portfolios. If he wants to change them, he should get on with it.
Chris Hipkins, how would you describe the state of the nation?
Struggling. It's really tough for New Zealand families at the moment. Costs continue to go up, more people are losing their jobs, and people are really struggling just to maintain their status quo.
So what optimism would you offer Kiwis? Just heard you say that.
New Zealand can be a much better country than this. We can create good, well-paid jobs here in New Zealand. We can make homes affordable again so that New Zealanders can aspire to home ownership. We can create the sort of country where our kids want to stay and create a future rather than leave and go overseas.
What's your view on the Reserve Bank Governor signing that letter in support of Trade Power?
I had no problem with the letter. I think it reflects the position that the New Zealand government should be taking. The independence of the Federal Reserve and the threats against it are very concerning.
Do you see it though as someone involving themselves with the internal politics of another country?
No.
Because that's basically why the government's justified why they criticised her for doing it. So should positions like the Reserve Bank Governor, should they be allowed to criticise things in this way?
I think they do need to be careful. The Reserve Bank, Winston Peters has some point when he says the Reserve Bank's independence does not extend to foreign policy. He is correct on that. Having said that, I think the Reserve Bank Governor is entitled to express her views on international developments.
And what's your view on, so just on some foreign questions, how the government has responded to things over the summer, like Venezuela, like Greenland, like Iran? Should they be more visible? Do you agree with the positions that they have been taking?
I think the New Zealand government could have been more visible and more principled on all of those issues. You know, standing up for international laws, international rules is something New Zealand has taken very principled positions on in the past, and we should continue to do so.
Do you agree with the US intervention?
It's clearly contrary to international law. Now, I had no time for the previous government of Venezuela, but going and effectively taking over a country with no international law behind you is a very, very big step for the United States to take. And for New Zealand to say nothing about that, I think, has been an abrogation of what has previously been a very principled foreign policy position by New Zealand.
The State of the Nation speech from the Prime Minister effectively marks the start of the election year. How do you hope this election year will go, and how will you be posing yourself or operating throughout this election?
I'm very excited to be in election year this year. We've got a lot to talk about. New Zealand can be a much better country than this government thinks. We can create opportunity here in New Zealand. We can back Kiwis to create good, well-paid jobs. We can have a world-class health system that benefits everybody. We can restore the dream of home ownership. And we can make New Zealand a country where our kids want to stay.
What can we expect from your first caucus meeting of the year? Will there be any reshuffles, policy announcements?
Our first caucus of the year caucus meeting of the year gets underway on Wednesday, and I have more to say about that then.
Have you over the summer had any indication from any of these that they will be stepping down?
We've got our own caucus on Wednesday. I've always been very clear that where any MP indicates that to me, it's their business to announce that, and I always leave them the space to do that. So simply speculating on whether there had been or there hadn't been would be unfair on anybody had there been that conversation. I'm not speculating either way.
The Labour Party has been quite fond of three-word slogans during election campaigns in the past. Do you think you'll have a three-word or a four-word one this year, or when will you be revealing that?
We've already been very clear that our priorities for this campaign will be jobs, health, homes, and real action on the cost of living. Those are the things that matter to New Zealanders. New Zealand doesn't need more slogans. Of course, you know, in politics there will always be slogans come election time. But there needs to be more than that. All Christopher Luxon's offering is more hollow slogans without any real idea about how to turn the country round.
Do you have a message for the Prime Minister?
He needs to focus on the substance. New Zealanders don't want more slogans from him. They want to see some vision, and they want to see a credible plan for the future. He's had 2.5 years as Prime Minister, and he still hasn't come up with one. Great. Welcome to Upper Hutt. You guys all good?